Alright, folks, we're back. Alright, we just got the tank about halfway. About 50% of the water is taken out of it now. We're getting ready to go ahead and turn the water in reverse flow to refill the tank. One thing I wanted to go over first, and you must excuse my little man, he's eating breakfast right now, being a little loud. But the third time that I rinse these out, I add dechlorinator to the water. Now, I plug the pump back in, so I will let this sit and flow through there with the dechlorinator for probably another 10-15 minutes or so, give or take. I just wanted to add that little bit because these 200 micron socks are so porous and absorbent that they will hold some of the chlorine from the bleach in it. So you got to neutralize that with dechlorinator just to be on the safe side. We will also be going over what I use for additives when I fill the water up. So let's get this rolling here. Let me go ahead and get the water going on. Should be in reverse flow now. And you can tell we've got sand moving, so there's water coming out. And since it's city water, we have to dechlorinate it. So what I use here is Dr. Foster and Sons, or Dr. Foster and Smith's chlorine neutralizer. They recommend approximately 2 teaspoons per 10 gallons. So we took out roughly 50-60 gallons of water. So I'm going to add the equivalent to that. Since I've been doing it, I kind of know just by pouring it where about I should be, and that little splurt right there should do it for that. You can't. People say you got to be cautious when you are adding dechlorinator, but you can't overdose your tank with dechlor. It's better to use a little bit more than not enough. That's what I say. And then a couple other additives I add. Right here, this is Kent Discus Essentials. This is really good stuff. I get that through Dr. Foster's. The reason I use that is because it's got additives in it that help soften the water and add trace minerals found in the Amazon for Amazonian fish. It's really good stuff. I've always used it. I try not to use too many different products. For example, I was using a peat extract made by, I can't remember the manufacturer, but I used it for a long time. And then when I switched to the Kent, I slowly switched to it. So every time I would add a gallon of water to top off, I would add a little bit. Now, over the time, this whole system's run with these chemicals here. Once a month, once every 2 weeks, give or take, I keep an eye on my plants, and I use Leaf Zone made by API, and it's been working so far. When I first started using it, I put a little too much, and I noticed some browning of the leaves. But once I dialed back, I think I got it down to where, like I said, every 2 weeks or so, every month, when I top off the tank, I'll go ahead and add that into the gallon of water for topping off. Aside from that, what else I will be doing is I will be checking for my pH levels, and it's just an API freshwater test kit. It's got all the tests you need. The only one that I've really used is the low range pH. So that is the extent of that. Let me go ahead, and we got some water in the tank now. Let me add the Discus Essentials to it. And with this, a little goes a long way. It does not take much at all of this stuff. Here it says 5 milliliters per 30 gallons of water each week. So it gives you a pretty good idea of how much to add. So now all I do is I admire the fish, and I wait for the tank to fill up. You can tell that the water is highly aerated, so it's producing a lot of air bubbles from the faucet. But that's not going to harm anything, and those dissipate within the first 20 minutes of the system running again. That is how I do my 50% water changes routinely every Sunday. Little pointer I wanted to throw out there. When you're using your test kits, I use a little syringe here, and what this does is this allows me to get the exact amount, because I mean, how many of you guys have taken a bottle, dipped it in, gotten too much, poured too much out? This way, one syringe full is the exact amount that I need to fill to the line right there. A little pointer. I also suggest when you are taking your water sample in your vial that you take it from mid-tank to bottom. There's different levels in a tank depending on how big it is. There's no for sure way to know exactly where they are at, but there's the level in the middle where you're going to get the most accurate reading. Same thing with pools. They don't recommend taking the sample right off of the surface due to added stuff that could be floating on a film, or it could give you an inaccurate reading some way, shape, or form. So they recommend taking it mid-level in the tank. Another little tidbit, tricks of the trade. Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and finish up this video here. We're going to let this thing fill up, and we'll give you another update in a few days on anything new. Until the next episode, happy tanks.